Hey everyone, Tony D here with a hot take. And this is a hot take you may want to skip because it's going to make you mad. It's going to make you, it may infuriate you beyond reason. So I won't blame you if you skip this one. Um, so I'm going to start with some history. In 1914, there was a famous incident, the Christmas truce of 1914. I'm not a religious person. I'm an agnostic. When I was a kid, my mother said to me and my brother, "I'm sick of trying to drag you guys to church. If you want to go again, you'll have to ask me." I think we were teenagers at that time, and we both never asked her again because neither one of us are religious. We never went to church again. Um, but the Christmas truce of 1914, it was a miracle. It was. What happened was this was World War II. The Germans and English were in a nasty war. I mean, it was trench warfare. And they were just shooting at each other, blowing each other up, and never gaining much ground either way. The trenches went back and forth, but really they kind of stayed in the same place. And it was a meat grinder. They would go over the top, and a bunch of them would get killed, and then the survivors would come back, and it was a mess. It was a mess. Strategically, it was a mess. Everything about it was a mess. And in 1914, the Pope called for a Christmas truce, and the leaders of the free world, quote unquote, said no. No, no, F your truce. F the truce, Pope. F you. We can't let the killing stop for one single day. But you know who did stop the killing? The soldiers on the ground. That Christmas, somehow, they came out of the trenches and called their own truce. They played soccer. They exchanged gifts. They smoked and drank and exchanged little rations of food. They didn't have much, but for that day, they didn't kill each other. They defied everything to do that, to show their humanity. And it's truly a miracle, I believe. And they happen, apparently. Last night, something awful happened. In Los Angeles, two policemen were sitting in their car, and completely unsolicited, someone came up to the car and shot into it, hitting both cops in the head, and they're both in critical condition. It's horrific. It's happened before. It happened in New York. It's on camera. I believe they will get this person easily. It's Los Angeles. There are cameras everywhere. This person will probably face the death penalty if they're unlucky. Certainly they'll be in jail for the rest of their lives. Miserable. But there's something even worse than that. There's this. Black Lives Matter went to the hospital, chanted, "I hope they effing die." I mean, this is from the Daily Mail. Disgusting scene outside LA hospital as protesters taunt cops about two young county sheriff's deputies, fighting for their lives after being shot in a patrol ambush while Trump demands gunman is caught and put to death. You'll probably face the death penalty. Definitely if one of them dies. They'll face the death penalty, and they will succeed in getting it. They will pour resources into getting this person. When the government wants to get you, you'll get. But Black Lives Matter, and I'm talking to you. You have just given up the rest of your moral high ground. It's from the Gateway Pundit. We hope the bee dies. And there is video of it. There are people in BLM, and Tim Pool covered this, I know, but I have to cover it too. People in BLM tweeting, happening now. We're at St. Francis Hospitals where 2 pigs have been brought to be repaired after being shot in the head. All right. Not good. Not good. I won't even play this video because I believe there's a lot of cursing in it. We hope the bee dies. And not only did they protest at the hospital, they didn't protest very peacefully. They were trying to breach. They blocked exits. This is where Black Lives Matter has ended up. This is what happens when you follow Marxism. Because Marxists, they do want a war. They want a no-holds-barred war. You idiots. You morons. Anything now you do will never undo this. The looting was bad enough. And when you said, well, that's really about property, it's not about people. I mean, that's a weak argument. It's an argument. This is karma, baby. This is karma. You have lost the moral high ground. The only people who would support Black Lives Matter now are either woefully ignorant of your actual actions and, your history and what you actually stand for, or they are part of it. They are part of it and they don't care. Well, you're gonna care. You are gonna care. Because this is beyond. This is really beyond. And you're really saying that the guy who shot these people are one of you. You really are. You want a war? You're going to lose that war. You think you could take on even just the LAPD? These guys are armed to the teeth. You're fools. You're fools, and I'll have nothing to do with you. I won't support you in any way. I see young people driving around with BLM soaped on their windows and little hearts, and saw some woman at work who had it all over her car. She is going to regret that. That's what's going to happen to a lot of people who tweeted and supported this. They will regret their support. You have set back the movement for police reform, for civil rights. You've set it back by decades. Decades. There are racists now who are finally emerging. We had the racists pretty much out of the public view, not because of cancel culture, just because they lost the argument. Now they're suddenly emerging from their hidey holes going, see? So thanks for that, idiots. I spent enough of my time back in the 80s arguing against racist. Now it's 2020 and I have to start doing it again. Every person who showed up to this hospital and blocked entrances should be arrested. No question. They should be arrested and hauled off to jail. That is wrong. If it's not illegal, it should be. They should be arrested for trespassing. Whatever charge you can make stick, arrest them. Throw them in jail. All of them. That's not a protest. When you're outside a hospital blocking entrances, there are other people who need medical care. I mean, beyond the cops. That you're chanting horrible things, you could chant them from the curb. but that you're blocking things and causing a disturbance. No. No, no. The founding fathers did not say that was a legal protest. It's not. It's peaceful protest. You could stand across the street and hold up signs, just like the Westboro Baptist Church, with horrible things written on it, if you want, but you can't block entrances. All these guys should be rounded up, put in jail, and charged with trespassing, disorderly conduct, whatever you could do. And I don't know why it's not being done. These people, at this point, are quite scum. They're scum, and scum usually don't have that great of an access to lawyers. This ideology has possessed these people, and there's only one thing that can cure them: a hard dose of reality. Keep arresting them. Arrest them until they get thrown in jail. That's it. That's the cure. Arrest them and put them in jail. And it's bizarre that I'm even making this video and saying these things. Libertarians, we don't want people in jail. We want prison reform. We want police reform. I've told you how to fix the police, but you're not interested in any nuanced arguments. Now you want to defund the police. These people have to be arrested for their own sake. To splash cold water in their face, to show them that society will not tolerate this. Is there anyone, anywhere, who could say, well, if that was my relative, I'd be okay with it? If that was my friend or coworker, I'd be okay with that. I mean, they get their say, even if it may cause a problem. No. This isn't a peaceful demonstration. If you're trying to breach the doors of a hospital, that's not peaceful. It's not. BLM is done and should be. Anyone who supports BLM should be reminded of this: that BLM supports police murder. That BLM supports protesters that come out and say these things. They support them. They're not denouncing them. I don't see the BLM leadership coming out and saying, well, that was too much. Good luck if you do. It'll be too little too late at this point. I mean, you didn't denounce the riots. You actually encouraged them. You're done. The moral high ground is gone. It's time that any company, any organization, anywhere that supports this be boycotted. I'm on dating sites, and there are women who put Black Lives Matter in their profile. Swipe. Won't date them. Won't date their virtue signaling ass. This has gone off the rails, and I don't know what's next, short of a news story where we see a Black Lives Matter training compound where people are being trained to murder people. I mean, is that the next step? This is Marxism. It's not protest. It's Marxism. It's war. It's tearing down the state. Wake up. You have to wake up to this. And people are. I mean, I've talked to people now who they've said, I'm not watching football anymore. And I was just blown away. And the people who say this to me are total sports fans. They're total sports fans. And yet they're like, I'm done with the NFL. I'm done with it. And I was like, whoa. That was me back when The Simpsons started to go woke. And I just looked at it and I said, well, I'm done. I can't watch The Simpsons. I can't watch Family Guy. I love those shows. I love them. I watch them every single episode. I can quote dialogue till the cows go home. I was the guy to beat in Simpsons trivia. Now I can't even watch the show. I refuse to watch it. I worked writing Simpsons comics. It's a nightmare what this ideology has done. It's destroying everything it touches. It is a cancer. We have to say no. No more. Boycott BLM. Defund BLM.